So today we are joined with the lovely Tarendeep. So for those who have no idea who you are, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I am content creator and social media consultant. So I work with female small-led businesses that are struggling to be visible online. And that is two parts in my business. So I do content creation covering events, workshops and behind the scenes of the business. And also I do social media management, consultancy, power hours. So, you can start working small and we can go big. So it depends on the business's needs.
Oh, I love it. How did you get into that?
I think it was a journey to it. I was working as a business consultant and personal assistant to the director of the company. And I just got to touch every bit of it. And they merged with a bigger company. And unfortunately, there was no place for me to go with them. And I was like, you know what? I know what I'm doing. I will set it up on my own. And my previous boss, he's like, I'm going to help you, know?
Amazing.
So, yeah, he was really good.
Oh, I love it. So tell me a little bit about the journey of actually setting up by yourself then, because it's quite scary in one way, isn't it? Exciting, but a bit scary.
The imposter syndrome kicks really hard.
Yeah.
It's like...
It's not just our industry that we get imposter syndrome and then...
You doubt every single step you take. And you think... especially with the social media, you get overwhelmed seeing big accounts and big people, talking all the things that you hear first time. And then you're like, who's going to work with me? In the beginning, we all have that question in our heads. So I think, it was a journey, but I had really good circle around me, people that started their businesses, been in business for a while, and anytime I have a question, I can help me out. What do I do? And you have to have that circle.
You've got the support network.
You need to have it. You need to have it before setting.
I love this. We've been banging on about this ever since we've started this podcast, really, on how important it is to surround yourself with the right people.
Yeah.
So going from an employed job then into creating what is this now amazing business and that imposter syndrome bit, how did you kind of tackle? Because I've certainly found sometimes when you've got more knowledge on something.
Yeah.
So my background was corporate as well.
Yeah.
And then I know when I launched into going self-employed, I'd been working with massive brands. So I was like, yes, let's just go all in and create everything to the ridiculous level.
Yeah.
Very quickly realised I did not need that when I was first starting out. How did you find that journey? Because I imagine there's a little bit of similarity.
I'm working with the small businesses. So they either starting up, setting up from scratch, or they've been in a business for a while, but, they need to outsource at the moment. So they are in the pivoting moment. And sometimes it's very difficult. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult. And that employed mindset sometimes still kicks in because I don't come from the business background. The whole generations in my family worked for somebody. Mm. So I'm the one that breaking the ceilings, and you have to work on yourself. You really do.
Yeah. What are some of the things that you do regularly then to help you work on yourself?
Podcast is one thing.
Yeah.
It's really helpful to see the other businesses struggling with the same things, actually. Having the friends and family, that support network circle around you helps to understand that, okay, we're all dealing with the same things in just the matter of the scale that we're dealing it on. So podcast, I'm doing a lot of trainings. So just working on self-development as well as the business development. If I don't grow, my business won't grow. That's my motto, to be in the business. I need to grow because my business so far is depending on me.
Yeah. And is that something that you knew right from the outset, or is that a lesson that you'd learned?
No, it is a lesson. It is a lesson. And I think that imposter syndrome, it's always breathing on the neck. And I was like, how can I back myself up? So I get into the training, this year I'm doing 4 certificates. So I'm backing up myself in different levels, in different aspects in the business. And I think that helps me to understand that I have the knowledge. I just need to go through it and, put it in my work.
Yeah, I love that. It's very similar to people in our industry going after that CPD badge quite a lot, isn't it? But we certainly find that it's a little bit, the balance isn't quite right.
Yeah.
There's that much CPD in obtaining dog knowledge for us and very little in terms of your self-development, your business development.
Yeah.
But like you say, without that, you can't grow your business and therefore you can't help the people that ultimately you want to help.
No, so it's not only about learning things about the business. It's learning what you need to know, the areas that is needed in your business to sustain it. Because if, burnout is not going to be a badge of honor.
No.
So until unless you can run your business sustainably, it's going to be difficult. And that work and life balance that people bragging about, work 1 hour a week and, have 10K months. It's like such a fluff that I can't stand it. It's the biggest ick that I have on social media is people not showing the real work that goes into the setting up the business. And it's a hardship, I'm speaking very straight. It is a hard thing to do. But if you persevere, you can make it work for you.
Yeah.
Rather than, other side round.
Yeah. And it is, I think it's so important because you do see, like you say, a lot of that fluff out there. And it's like, it sounds amazing, doesn't it? And then you're thinking, I think arguably, depending on the type of person you are, you could look at that type of messaging in two very different ways. You can do the, oh my God, that's really aspirational and I'm going to graft to get there because I know I can do it. But I think there is a decent majority that will go, oh my God, I'm never ever going to achieve that. That is just so overwhelming. It's just not possible.
Or it's the too good to be true thing. Like that can't possibly be how it is, can it?
Yeah. Yeah. I think people can get really upset that their life doesn't look anything like it's on social media. And it can be a downfall. They can, just spiral down from it. Or it can be aspiration that people want to reach. They want to achieve that freedom that, having the time spending with the family and traveling and whatnot, whatever is important things for you, right? I think it is, it can work two ways. So it depends on your mindset.
Yeah, absolutely. So from your point of view then, being a content creator and knowing that the feelings of overwhelm are there when you're looking at social media, how do you kind of combine that? Because I know we've had lots of people reach out to us saying, oh, but there's so many people out there being like social media gurus and then they're investing in their things going, I need to be doing this. And then all of a sudden they're overwhelmed with social media. So they half-ass that. Then the overwhelm kicks in again and they're almost like picking up bits of everything. But then there's this underlying voice of constantly saying, I need to be on social media. I know I need to be doing this. I know I need to be doing that, but I just can't do it.
Yes. I think...
I like the smile on your face.
Speaking with your audience, I think it's important to give an example. Yeah. And I was thinking about it. If you imagine social media being as a playful puppy.
Oh.
And it's full of energy and always wanting attention. That is the social media. And the more you give attention, the more you lose the time, right? So it can be overwhelming and it's constant pressure to post, to engage, to do this, to do that. Certain hours, 5 times a week, 3 times a day. Like, who has time for that?
Yeah.
There is other aspects of the business rather than just sitting on the social media. So you have to find out what works for you. That's the best advice that I can give. Yes, it is important. If nowadays social media is used as a search engine to see if the business is real. Yeah. If you're not on Instagram, if you're not on Facebook, if you're not on LinkedIn, then where the hell are you? Yeah. That means, are you even exist? because anyone can slap a website, right? But people being scammed. So if you have a socials and you show your face and you speak to people, that is your social proof. That is the importance that people can find you.
Yeah, it's true, isn't it? I've definitely researched companies before if I want to work with them. I've heard that example before of people using social media like a search engine, and my gut reaction to that is always like, well, I don't. I use actual search engines to find the business.
Yeah.
But then once I've actually found the business, I do actually go onto social media, and then I'm like, when was the last time you posted? Because if it's like 6 months ago, then no, I'm not going with you. So maybe you don't exist anymore.
Yeah, that's another thing, isn't it? It's the frequency of posting as well. Because if you see that someone hasn't posted for a long time, you wonder what's going on, and you get a little bit hesitant about maybe using them.
Yes. So even not only the social media, even websites, I can put my hands up and say, I check at the bottom, and if it says 2021 and you haven't updated the copyrights, thanks.
It's a bit of a red flag, yeah.
It's a buy.
Oh, it's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah. All the attention to detail that you have
just
to have.
how much you don't really think about the things that you naturally do every day when you're researching somebody.
Yeah. So the social media frequency of posting, you have to be there. You have to be. And that's where the pressure comes from, that people feel pressurized of, I have to do it. But then they get overwhelmed with everything. What to post, how to post.
Yeah, this is my next question actually, is because people see everybody else doing all this on social media, and there's posting and then there's posting. So there's posting just something just for the sake of posting, isn't there? And then there's actually what is going to be beneficial, like you said earlier, to you to grow your business and to make people trust you and want to buy from you. What's the real nitty gritty of what people should be posting is basically the question. But obviously that's very specific to each individual industry, I'm guessing.
It is, and it's depending on the business as well. So posting just for the sake of posting will never do. You can post 5 times a day. Recently, I heard that one of the social media gurus said that you have to post actually 60 times a day.
60?
And I was like... So that's the overwhelm that you can get if you're listening to social media gurus that are on social media. Wow. 60 times a day. Like, do you think your audience will appreciate you? I don't think so. They're going to be like, forget about it. Like, it's too much. So you have to know your audience intimately. You have to know why you're doing, how you're talking to them. That's super important. The hardest work that people don't want to do, the business owners don't want to do this work. Ideal client work and your messaging, this is super important.
And would you also agree with this? This is just my humble opinion, but people try and sell too much on social media. Do they come across, like we see people coming across a bit too salesy on their social media? Because there's that argument to say that you need to sell something,
right?
But how it comes across, and if you don't post very often, but then when you do post, it's buy this, that's all they're going to see. Is that a good strategy, or is that not a good strategy?
Well, yeah, because it's a bit like the Gary V thing, isn't it? Of like you do your jab, right hook. So you give, sell. Give, sell something.
It depends.
Yeah.
It depends. I think you can sell it, but still be professional and don't sound salesy. So it's your messaging again. We're coming back to the same thing. You need to do the work the way you speak to your audience and what your audience like, who they are, how they talk. If you figure that out, it's so much easier. You know what you're speaking, why you're speaking, and to whom you're speaking. It's a simple strategy, but it's a lot of work behind the scenes to get that right.
Yeah. It's like a lot of it in business, isn't it? It's like everything is actually really simple to create a very profitable, very happy, lovely business.
Yeah.
But we as humans overcomplicate the crap out of it.
Yeah. Because we listen what's happening around. and we're not focusing what is our business, how we can reach our audience and what they want from us.
Yeah, it's so true.
So would you say that a big part of how people are going to achieve that then is to speak to the audience in the right way, is to do market research, figure out what is it they want, what their needs, how their needs can be met by that particular person? Is that...
So knowing your why is number one thing.
It's like
why?
Listening to our trainings.
It is, isn't it?
Why you do what you do, why you started this business. So you already know few directions and few answers. And then from there, you're taking to whom you're speaking. So who has that issue that you can help solve it? It's so simple, yet it's complicated because it's forever evolving. And your business is not the same as you started 1 year later. It's changed. I started as one person and then I niched down to content creation and social media management because I find out that that's what people are struggling the most and I enjoy the most doing for them, rather than, doing email management and travel arrangements and that VA work where I started in the beginning. So I evolved within a year time. Imagine if you're in business 5, 6 years, 10 years, you're not the same person, and so is your audience.
Yeah. And do your clients that you get predominantly, are they people that have got to the point where they're like, I cannot deal with doing this anymore? Or are they people who've started and gone right from the outset, I want you to do our work for us?
I think 70%, I would say, my clients are the ones that it's so busy. I just literally don't have time. That's the 2 main things that I hear from business owners. I don't have enough time to be on social media. And the second one, I hate content creation. They feel that this is a chore that has to be done. And when you do that as a chore, you get half-hearted stuff. And that's why your audience don't connect, because you don't put your heart in it.
Yeah.
It all makes sense.
So I felt this way before when I was in the deepest, darkest depths of my training business.
Yeah.
And I was so busy actually delivering the training sessions, as I haven't even got time to do any of the content stuff. And
you're lucky if you remember to take a photo of a dog. Or
yeah,
something.
Exactly. It's really difficult. And the knowledge I had was there from previous agency world of like, oh, well, I could outsource this and I could get somebody to come in. And then my limiting beliefs at that time was like, oh, but how am I going to have time as well to tell somebody else exactly what it is I want? It's almost like a bit of a control thing, isn't it? It's like, I want to do everything. I can't do everything. But how am I supposed to give that job to, let's say, yourself?
Yeah.
And then how much of that content is actually going to be bespoke to me? Because if I'm still trying to build up the brand around me, so the personal brand as well.
It is, yeah.
How does that all work when you're outsourcing it?
So this is 100% business owners talking. That's what I hear, 100%. Because their business is their baby. You don't give the baby to anybody who just comes across, right? So it's getting to know the person that you're working with. It's a social media manager or content creator. It becomes your friend. It has to be. And that adjustment period, I usually say it's 3 months. So it's like any employment. You go, they're giving you the period of 3 months to trial, right? The work, if you fit with the team and et cetera, is the same thing with the business. You have to train the person that comes to work with you, because now you two people have the same goal to make your business work, to make your business visible, to make sales from that business. So it is your team member, even though you're outsourcing and you probably not see the person in person, this is your team member. So training, having the calls, regular updates, checking the metrics, checking, I have my clients saying, well, that did not sound really the way I wanted. Maybe next time, can we try this? That's not a problem. You training me. And I can go and edit it, after. It's not a problem. It's about the communication And I don't work with clients that has no communicational skills. Because for me, if I need to do this now for you, you have to be available for me. Yeah. That is the number one rule with working with me.
Oh, love this. So you're basically like, not everybody can come along and work with you if your fit isn't right.
No. I have discovery call in the beginning, so which is 20 minutes, just me to know your business. I will send you a proposal. From proposal, we will have the strategy time where I will work deeply in your business. So it's not, oh, can you start posting on my social media tomorrow? It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I'm looking deeply in the business. What is your voice? What your messaging is, and how you talk to your people. And from there, I will start creating the content for you.
Yeah.
It has to be the conversation before.
So how does it work then with, what's your opinion on, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it. You've got, there's obviously the bits that you can outsource, which are, in my mind, and again, I'm kind of casting my mind back to when I felt like this. So I imagine a lot of people are in my previous mindset.
Yeah.
So you can outsource the bulk of it as like you say, you're that additional team member.
Yeah.
But there's this underlying message that's out there in the universe, I feel, that you as your brand for your business, in whichever way, shape or form that looks like, you still need to be showing up. So is there kind of like an 80-20 rule, so to speak, where 80% is dealt with by the content manager, the content creation, but 20% you still need to show up. You still need to do the occasional live. You still need to put a picture of yourself up, or what?
Right.
What's your thoughts on all of that?
From my experience and the clients that I have, I do the posting. I will create it from scratch, or you will deliver raw footage for me, and then I will create whatever you need at that point, whatever you're selling at that point, whatever is the message for that time of period. But the rest, you doing it. You go on stories, you talk to your audience, you reply the messages, you commenting and liking the comments. We had, with one client, massive drops in the engagement. And the client was losing their followers. Why? I quickly check the metrics, all the analytics, there is no engagement. Yeah. So I was like, look, so much I can do. Yeah. I'm fulfilling my duty, but you have to fulfill yours. Mm. So there is accounts that outsource everything. Then, the person that is managing the account, they're managing the engagement, they're replying to messages, they're liking and chatting with people. And there is accounts that just take the overwhelm of posting for me. I'm happy to jump on stories. I'm happy to chat with people. And that's majority of my clients. Mm-hmm. So it depends how big you are. Because if you check the big accounts, they have many chats. It's automated replies, right? That is not a personal anymore. No. And a lot of them came back to talk to people and started posting on their stories because they felt like it wasn't their brand anymore, because everything was automated. So you need to find that right balance for yourself and what works in your business.
Yeah, it is, the engagement bit is so crucial, isn't it? Because I think, in all honesty, I think that's what a lot of people really struggle with is, okay, so what type of content should I be putting out? So I've certainly struggled with this. And I think we have, even in this business realm, of going, we know all the things that we need to be posting. It makes total sense.
Right.
But then how do I actually do it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you go to sit down and you go to write the post and you're thinking like, yes, right, so I need to do this like top level thing, and then I can get some engagement on that, and then I do that, and then I need to do a live, and I can almost do the practical layout, so to speak. But then you sit down in front of that computer and you're like,
you should draw a blank, don't you?
What the fuck is going on here? Where do I start? What do I do? And what type of messaging should you be putting out? Is it all actual, I say content. So do you know what I mean? Like, is it delivering something of value versus the occasional, do you know what? Like today, I'm just going to jump on a live and
Talk about
this is the day I've had. Like I've had a coffee, and how have your day been? And kind of the balance of that. What do you think?
You have to have a balance.
Yeah.
So if you struggle to post, what to post? This is the most common question I hear people ask, what to post. Always go back to your purpose, why you started your business. This is always your to go, why I started. What are my values? What is my messaging? You work backwards from that and you're like, okay, today this is what I'm doing. Yes, you have to have that personal brand where you talk about your day. You know, I post of my travels and I post of, you know, Valentine's Day and, you know, birthday celebrations, because people connect with people, not with the logos.
Yeah.
So it depends how personal the brand is. If you still have on your image, profile image, a logo, you need to change that right now. Because nobody will connect with that.
Yeah, it is. It is so important, isn't it?
Yeah.
And then I suppose taking it a step further then, so you've got your, and I think I'm predominantly thinking of Facebook now as the main platform. You've got your personal page, you can have a business page,
Yeah.
and you can have a group. Where do people start? Like, do people do a business page anymore?
This is what I always struggle with, and I know that people say it should be like your business page is your shop window, and keep forgetting to do that. Your business page is a bit like your shop window.
Yes.
It's showcasing what you do, and it's not anything real. It's not that personalised, and maybe a group, I might be totally wrong here, but a group gives you a chance to have more engagement with people and for them to have bigger conversations with you and open up a little bit more. Is that right?
It depends again on the business and where your clients are. My Facebook is very little. My main people are on the Instagram and LinkedIn. Again, you need to choose of the platforms where your audience sitting, where they spending the most of the time. Some people say Facebook is dead. It's not, if it is for the right business.
Yeah.
So again, your research where your people are, that's what you need to do. Then again, group, what are they getting in the group? What's happening in the group? Are you going live over there? What value do you give over there? Or is it just the page that people come and hang out and speak about the subject or topics that they want to talk about within the business? It depends on the purpose of the business. You always have to come back to that.
Yeah, it's a valid point, isn't it? Because I think, sorry, for anyone watching the podcast, like my dog has decided to join, and there's not enough room on this sofa for all of us.
There's not enough microphones on this sofa for all of us. If you start doing your husky whining.
fluff part. So I think it's so easy to almost select which content platform to go on based on your preference, isn't it? Rather than, like you say, where are your
But your
clients
business
at?
is not about you.
Yeah.
Your business is not about you. You might be
Hard lesson for people, that, isn't it?
you might be liking a TikTok, but your audience is not there. Then it's meaningless.
Yeah. This is where I struggle, because actually I know from a training point of view, a lot of clients love TikTok and I hate it.
So I just same. It stresses me out as soon as I go on it. It's too much noise. It's too much visual stimulation.
Yeah.
However,
but I can see why.
It is starting to adapt to ways of doing it. So with that in mind, then, how would you advise anybody listening to almost educate themselves on the different platforms? Is it about just creating a login and playing on it for a little while, or?
Yes, you can play along. I think with the practice, with the experience, with metrics, checking your analytics constantly.
Well, they sound like scary words.
Yeah, they do.
It actually don't have to be that hard. it can be so much fun.
Yeah, I love metrics.
Because
I know a lot of people
numbers.
I love the way that metrics is fun for you. Like, I'm like, what is this?
Weird to get started.
You know what it is? When you log in 1 month and you know the metrics, and you log in the next month and you see, oh, that increased 50%. Hell, it's a fun. It is fun. When you see that the things that you do, the strategy that you put for the month worked.
Actually, saying that,
You have been like metric obsessed.
I quite enjoy the podcast metrics.
Yeah.
Because that's like...
Obsessed. She's on it
Yeah,
like
yeah.
3 times a day.
So I like that because it's... when it's going well, then I quite like it. And when it's not, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. Just play along. You know, my clients' followers were dropping in December. Starting half of the November and December, it was like, I'm losing followers. What's happening? And we haven't changed the strategy. And I was like, let me have a look. So in January, I checked the metrics. And because December is a lot of sales happening on socials, people do follow and follow game. So they follow you expecting that you will go on their profile, follow them back and buy whatever they're selling at that moment. And then if you don't follow them back, if you don't buy, they unfollow you. So if you worried about your followers in December, January time, don't worry about that. I checked the metrics. I said, you have the same exact number of followers as you had in November. You did not lose anybody. So people playing along, you need to be wary of those things. Obviously, the main question I ask everybody I come in contact, that inquiring about the services, do you have time, resources, and knowledge to do your socials? If something is missing in that, you better outsource it.
Yeah. I think it's so crucial, isn't it, to be able to identify when you do need to outsource it. And sorry, I'm distracted again because we're using like handheld mics and I feel like I've got a personal assistant like just leading it towards me.
I'm good at giving you the mic. I'm not so good at using it.
It's going to make brilliant video footage. So from let's say a crappier mindset then, when you're already feeling overwhelmed, and potentially for a lot of listeners, potentially for a lot of listeners, they may be thinking, well, I don't even know where the next paycheck's coming from.
Right.
And now I've got to do all of this social media. I'm not in a financial position to be able to outsource it.
Right.
So where do we start with that?
So I always say that social media is a free tool. I know.
It's gone all wrong now, like that.
Should we just like sort this and then
So I always say that social media is a free tool because it is free, right? But there is a big, big but over there. If you are not good at what you do, you have no return of investment over your socials, your business is not reaching the potential clients, you have no inquiries coming in, that means you need to seek help. And I think it's also a mindset of being open for other people come because it's new opinions, it's a fresh pair of eyes that comes and checks what's happening. If you're not open to that, then it's super hard to outsource. You have to make investment for your social media because some of my clients are life coaches, right? And they're so good at what they do. They can't be good at everything. And I said, you draining yourself hours and hours and hours of what to post, searching, checking, what's coming on your page, seeking for inspiration. That's 3 hours gone. Yeah. Those 3 hours, you could have coached 3 people and earn your money. So when you invest in your time and energy in the right place at what you are really good at, you will get your business going. But if you're dragging the time as something that you're half-hearted or you don't have knowledge. I see a lot of businesses still doing the strategies that was working in 2020. We are in 2024, a lot things changed. Even from the last year, it's changed a lot to now. If you're not up to date, you will always be behind. So that investment of your social media, you can start very little. You can start, 1 post or 2 posts a week to start with. And then, as you grow along, you can grow your social media outsourcing as well. So it's not set in stone. But I think that mindset of paying someone to do the job that you think you can do has to change. We in 2024, stop wasting time and energy on something that you're not good at.
Yeah, we all waste time on things that we're not great at, because when you're a business owner, you think you've got to be good at everything. Yeah. And you're not. You should be, like you say, good at your specialist subject
that you're good at.
Yeah. And it's that letting go. Do you find people really struggle with that letting go?
Yes.
Taking that control away, letting it go, the leap of faith. How do I know you'll be right for me is probably what some of your clients are thinking.
That's what I like in-person meetings, you feed off the energy of the person rather than the Zoom. It feels a bit cold, especially the first calls when you have, with inquiries. And I like in person because they can feel me, they can feel the way I talk, and, it's completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, it is. I love so much about this, though, because it's almost wrapping everything into... It's not just talking about content creation here, is it? There's a lot about the mindset and the overwhelm. And I love that terminology as well of investing. You have to invest in your business. It is not a cost, because without that investment, you are not going to see any reward.
No.
Like, you can sit there and be as crap or like this jack of all trades thing and like just keep trying to do all these little bits.
Yeah.
But realistically, that is not going to improve your bottom line.
No.
That is not going to improve your health and well-being, because you're just going to be doing all of this stuff all the time. And there does need to be a big shift in people's thoughts, I suppose, in we do have to invest in ourselves and in our business to be able to earn the money and have the life that we want to have.
And saying that, I think I need to highlight the important thing. Hiring someone to handle your social media is not that you as a business owner are thrown out of your business. You're still pretty much involved in everything. Yeah. You are the one that's training the person that's coming to help you, as well as you together. That's why in every proposal what I say, I pretty much appreciate the involvement in checking the metrics and having the conversation once a month to check what's working, what's not. Business owner is involved in that. It's our conversation of what's working, what's not. So I had a conversation with someone that has over 1,000 followers on Instagram, and they get like 3-7 likes on static post. I was like, who is doing the social media? Well, we have someone. I said, well, they're doing the wrong thing. If from 1,000 people you have only 3-7 likes, that means the message is not reaching. So by that, you can know who is right person for you.
Yeah.
You can always ask your social media manager or the person that you're inquiring with to show the accounts that they're managing for the proof. Yeah. One post can do really good. Another post will not be so good. Then you're changing the tactics. You're changing the approach. And it's all the time you working together. So that mindset changed is you are not thrown out. Just because you're not creating captions and you're not creating the hashtags and you're not editing the pictures or the videos, that doesn't mean that you're out of the decision making. It's so important to understand that.
Yeah.
I bet there are some people that would quite like to be out of the decision making, though.
If you are, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's a different type of outsourcing then. You're handing over everything and you just want to travel. That's fine. occasionally come on the stories and say, hi, I'm, in the beach
Oh my God.
It depends. It depends on the business, right? And that's why when people say, oh, just quickly tell me how much is how much you charge. No, sorry, I don't do that because it's tailored. I need to know what is the business, where you are right now, what is your goals, how you want to get there, what sources we have to get there. When I look at everything in the picture, then I can tell you how much I charge because I know how much work I need to put in.
Yeah. I like that.
This is really good.
It's a good model, yeah. So something you said within that last little section then that piqued my interest was the number of views versus the number of likes and loves, and you can tell I'm down on social media, can't you? So is there, and I appreciate it's like a really broad question, but is there kind of like a good standard? So for every 100 views, ideally you should be aiming to get X amount of likes or comments.
So
what does good look like, I suppose?
I don't think there is any measurement. Obviously, again, with all the fluff that's happening on the social media, there is a lot of, I want to go viral. My post needs to go viral. That's not going to happen so quickly because you need to know what you're doing. Again, if you don't know, it's super hard. I don't have big following, but I have very engaged audience. I have inquiries coming constantly because I showcase what I do. I also make my business very personalized. So it depends on the approach of your business strategy and the messaging that you have. You could aim for all the 1,000 followers to have 1,000 likes, but usually people don't see everything that you post. That's why repurposing the content is a really good tool, because within 3 months, you can easily repurpose the same content and you will get, if you check those two, it will be the higher reach, the higher engagement on the second one. Because not everybody from your following saw that exact post. So the measurement can be super hard to measure. But when you see improvement constantly with the metrics, again, you have to check it. You can make it better and better and better. And the one that did well, you can repeat it and see if there's a pattern over there.
Can you talk to us a little bit more about repurposing content? Because is that a case of just repeating the same content, or do you change it slightly?
Change. Yeah. You do change. It can't be the same 6 months ago. Maybe you disagree with that opinion, whichever you posted 6 months ago. Maybe you changed your mind. Maybe you had different experience that enhanced different outcome for you. It's always checking where you are right now. Even when you're repurposing the content, yes, you can repurpose the pictures, you can repurpose the videos. It can be different caption, different hook, different opinion. You can use the same video, but it can't be, like I'm using the same video every week. Then it's getting like suspicious. So at the moment, there's those faceless accounts that, looks very aesthetic, but there is no personality in there. You don't know who is behind the scenes, who is the person managing it, who is selling what. That's why being authentic is being you on your account and showing your face and connecting with your audience. So that repurposing, yes, you can repurpose. If you have a branding shoot and you have 25 pictures, you can rotate them. You will get, and you can change the backgrounds and, things like that. It's all open over there to do the repurposing.
Yeah. And it's this thing about the touch points, isn't it? That you need 7, 8, 9, sometimes it varies.
Yes.
Of all these different touch points that you feel like you're putting you out there again. Maybe it's a selfie of you, but it's a slightly different one, or it's in a different location. Like I might be walking my dog and I've got a selfie. Yeah. And then I might be at home doing some work in the office and there's a selfie. And you think it's a selfie, but a lot of people won't have seen the other selfie that I put on last week.
No.
So it's not being afraid, I guess, to just go people need to keep seeing this because those people aren't all going to have seen it in the first place.
Exactly.
But also people need to keep seeing your face because then they're going to build that trust and that visibility is going to become more familiar, isn't it?
Yeah,
so
yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
I've learned something.
So I think one final question from me then would be, you have to, or again, we're kind of told with all this fluff out there, that you should be, posting regularly enough, which I think we can all establish that we know that. But it's when you're the one posting it, it feels like you're doing too much because it's much of a muchness, if that makes sense.
Yes.
But I suppose it's that reiteration to yourself that not everybody is seeing what you're putting out. So I think it's hard when you own the platform, because then when you look at your feed,
but
then you're like, it's literally like, that's the same message I did like 2 days ago, or it's that. But I mean, how do you kind of combat that? Or is it just a case of just do it and just get over it, basically?
So covering the posting regularly, I think that is for everybody quite different. For one person and business can be once a week regular. For other will be once a day regular. It depends how much time you have. It depends how much you want to push your business. On the other hand, same message, you can always tweak it. So when you know your messaging, what is your primary messaging, what is your secondary messaging, then you can cover different aspects. So for example, I talk about the content creation, the covering events, workshops. I talk about social media management, different tools and how we can engage with our audience and etc. I also talk about business empowerment, female empowerment. So if you already noticed, I have 7 different messages and I can always talk about it in a different way. Yeah. It can be an experience. I had a meeting with the client, what I'm getting out of there. I maybe seen a movie that inspired me and I'm bringing that, like I did with the Barbie movie, right? It was female empowerment. And I drawn that message, which is irrelevant. Barbie to me, it has nothing to do with my business, but you drawn that to your business and made it yours. So it's all about being creative and making social media fun. It's not a chore, it's a fun. You can make it yourself. I have posts that are very with the humor, and making fun of social media managers and how we are tiring ourselves, and it's like, oh, it's 24/7, we did not know that before we started. Having fun, because this is your social media. This is you. And if you like humor, like me, why not? Don't hold yourself. So it's all about you, but not about you. It's what you can give to your audience through your personality.
Yeah, and it's relating it, isn't it? It's that element of storytelling and conversational.
Absolutely.
I saw this today and it relates back to the business somehow. Whereas it's trying to get that mindset of looking at things that happen in your day and going, how can I use that and spin that into something that could be useful for people to relate them to how they're feeling in their business right now. For our clients anyway, it's business owners that are frustrated or a bit lost. But in terms of like dog training clients, like what can you use that might help them relate to you and help your services can help them?
Yeah. So one pro tip today. I think the biggest one for people that's struggling with what to post. You go about your day. You do what you need to do. But you always have the notes, paper or on the phone, whichever you prefer. I listen to a podcast. Oh, that was a really good sentence. It's coming in my notes. So it's called content inspiration. And I write what I heard. I pause the podcast and I write what I heard. And I know that I can when I'm struggling to find what to post, I'm going back. I was like, okay, this was a really good sentence. How can I draw right now to my clients and how I can help them through that message? Have that. People call it brainstorm, but then it feels like you have to sit down and write things all that in your head. But you go about your day. You had an experience of something. You talked with the client. Someone shared. I had the other day someone messaging and they like, I had a baby and I'm really struggling to, come on the socials and it will be 1 week I'm posting and the next week I can't find myself posting. This is for me the conversation that I can talk to my audience. Okay, if you are a mother, you're struggling with the time and then consuming all the social media. Forget about creating. It's already 3 things I can talk as a minimum. So it's important to pay attention to those conversations that you have with your clients, with your potential clients, with the audience. All the comments on your post can be your next post. So have that note and write it down. Whenever you need, you can always come back to it. It will be your bank of inspiration.
I love that. That's a great top tip.
I know, yeah. I feel like I do that to you when I'm listening to my books in the morning, and then I just voice note her going, oh my God, just listen to this. Da, da, da. Although the problem is we voice note each other too much, so then I'll lose them.
Yeah, and the voice notes, you have to scroll and find out which one was that.
To listen to them again. And
The bank of inspiration can be just a sentence or 2 that, okay, it makes you remember what it was on about.
Yeah, I love it.
Amazing. Oh, thank you so much, Tarendeep. So if people want to find out more about you and your services, and it sounds like it's an amazing service.
Yeah. I mean, take a rip on it.
I'm literally like, oh my gosh, this is kind of what we need at the moment. But yeah, tell people about where they can find you then.
Right. So on LinkedIn is Tarendeep Kaur, and on Instagram is TK_virtual_A. And you can just leave me a message and connect with me. I'm still me and I'm still approachable. So it will be me who replying to the messages.
Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. Well, all the links and everything will be in the show notes, but thank you ever so much.
One last question we nearly forgot.
So
this is our final question for you. So you've kind of got a bit of an idea about us and our audience and on what people need. So who do you know that would be a great fit to come onto our podcast for us to interview? Putting you on the spot a little bit.
I don't know who you had before.
But anybody that can kind of help in the ways that we've sort of, given you a picture. Yeah.
Speaking of which, actually, I think you can have a branding photographer.
Ooh, I like it. Yeah.
Which kind of sounds not relative, but it is relative because we spoke about having your brand image, profile image, people using a lot of logos, which doesn't give the personal touch. So personal branding photo shoot, I think it would be really, really good opportunity to explore the possibilities, how you can showcase the business.
Yeah, I love it. Who springs to mind then that we should be talking to?
After the stopping recording.
Oh, brilliant. Well, thanks again for your time today, and we look forward to catching you soon.
Thank you for inviting me. It's been a privilege.
Amazing.